Welcome to the Excel solution for problem 5.2. In this particular case, I've already pre-populated the frequency and the probability from the table that you are given. We're asked to calculate the mean. So what we're going to do in this particular case is we're going to take the frequency of 0.0. We're going to multiply it by the probability of 0.1, and we get 0 in this case. We're going to then copy this formula down. So we want to do the same thing for each one of the rows. The next column, and as you may have noticed, I have included the formula at the top of the column heading to help myself and yourself. So now that we have the expected values, I'm going to calculate, or we're going to determine the mean, which is simply sum of these numbers. You could use the auto sum function also. Either way, mean of 2. I'm then going to take the frequency and subtract the mean and square it. So I'm going to take the frequency. I did put in the brackets minus mean. Now, the mean, when we go on to copy this, will still want it to refer to cell E10. So I'm going to turn it into an absolute value by selecting the F4 button. And it puts in the dollar signs, bracket. Now in Excel, you go the caret, the house, whatever you want to call it, and then 2. So this will square it. And we wind up with 4. I'm going to copy the values down. So we get the difference between the two numbers squared. Technically, you would get the same answer if you took mean times x, because you're squaring the value. So even a negative number will become a positive. Next, we're going to take those values that we just calculated, and we're going to multiply it by the probability. And then we're going to copy it down. So by doing it on a spreadsheet, especially once we've created the spreadsheet, it becomes very easy, fast to change the numbers. So in this case, we're asked to calculate the standard deviation. So I'm going to calculate the variance first. And the variance, and this time I will use the AutoSum function just to show you a bit of variety. The AutoSum function says that the variance is 1.4, but I want the standard deviation. So we're going to use a function you may not have used before. We're going to use the square root function. Cell, square root, or SQRT. We select the cell, we go right bracket, and there we are. So we have now calculated the square root. So just to clarify, this is the answer for A, and this is the answer for B. In part C, what is the probability there will be at least 2 accidents? So for C, you'd have 2 or more. And there's 2 ways to do this, as I mentioned in the Word version of this. You can simply go equal, sum up, 2 to 5 inclusive. It says at least 2, so that would include 2. We get 0.7, or if you prefer to do it this way, 1 minus 0 and 1. Either way, you're going to wind up with 0.7. Doesn't matter. There's no one way is better than others. There will be some upcoming distributions that are infinite to the right, and then we're going to deal with some distributions that are infinite to the left or the right. So you'll need to use the 1 minus more than you will to be able the adding, because you would literally be there forever to be able to do that. So I hope you found this useful, and we'll move on to a new problem.